Checking in with your symptoms is something that every anxiety sufferer does. Checking in is the habit of scanning your mind and your body to identify and monitor your anxiety symptoms. But here's the problem. Constantly checking in and worrying about your anxiety only makes your anxiety worse. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about why you need to stop checking in with your symptoms and how to stop the habit so you can begin to focus on more productive and enjoyable activities. Let's get started. Before we begin, I want to let you know that I put a complete recovery guide in the link below. It's called the 5-Step Cure to Anxiety and Panic Attacks. It's free and it's my gift to you for joining me here today. All right, if you're suffering from anxiety, you're probably experiencing a bunch of strange and frightening physical symptoms. Maybe you get intense anxiety, panic attacks, derealization, heart palpitations, nausea, and other strange sensations. But what you're doing, even if you don't realize it, is you're constantly checking in with these physical symptoms. For example, you might scan your body and think, oh, I'm starting to feel a bit lightheaded. I hope I don't pass out. Or, oh no, my anxiety seems to be getting worse. What if I have a panic attack? Why are you doing that? Why are you constantly checking in with your anxiety? Well, the reason you're checking in with these sensations is because you see the symptoms of anxiety as threatening, and therefore you worry about them. It's not hard to understand why we see the sensations of our anxiety as threatening. Anxiety symptoms can range from feeling uncomfortable to feeling downright dangerous and even torturous. And your brain, it's wired for survival. So it's going to keep checking in with these sensations and try to come up with ways to protect you from them. When I was suffering from anxiety, I remember the moment I realized just how much I was thinking about my anxiety. It suddenly hit me that I was constantly monitoring my symptoms and checking for new ones. I became so internally focused on my symptoms that I struggled to concentrate on anything else. In fact, I remember there'd be times where I'd struggle to carry on a conversation with my fiance because my focus just seemed to automatically drift back to worrying about how I was feeling. That's exactly what anxiety does. It makes us very internally focused. But focusing on ourselves and our symptoms is the worst thing we can do. Tony Robbins, the self-help guru, had a great quote. He said, "Suffering happens when you're focusing on yourself." That couldn't be more true when it comes to anxiety. Because when you focus on yourself and your symptoms, you're actually making your anxiety worse. You are increasing your suffering. The reason that checking in with your symptoms increases your anxiety is because it allows your brain to run wild with negative thoughts. For instance, if you check in on your heart palpitations, your mind then begins to worry. Why is my heart beating so fast? Did it just skip a beat? Is there something wrong with my heart? It leads you down a rabbit hole of negative thoughts that only does one thing, makes you more anxious. We cannot have that. We cannot check in with our anxiety symptoms every few moments if we're going to recover from anxiety. So here's what you're going to do. First, you need to understand why you're experiencing anxiety. You need to understand why you're having panic attacks, experiencing heart palpitations and derealization, and any of the other symptoms that you're having. This is a critical step because once you understand why you're experiencing these symptoms, they will soon no longer be seen by your brain as threatening and dangerous. Instead, you'll start to lose your interest in them because you'll know that they're not harmful. As a side note, if you don't yet understand why you're having these symptoms, you need to click on the link below and get the 5-Step Cure to Anxiety and Panic Attacks. It's free and it's going to teach you all about anxiety. But the short reason of why you're experiencing anxiety is because your body is inadvertently triggering your fight or flight response, and it's flooding your system with stress hormones like adrenaline. But here's the important part. Your fight or flight response is your body's natural protective mechanism. So no, these sensations, they're not dangerous and they're not even threatening. They are actually a sign of your body being in an ultra protective state. Having that realization is a big deal because you instantly take a huge step forward in the recovery process. Second, we need to break the habit of checking in with your symptoms. Right now, you are in the habit of constantly looking at your body and scanning yourself to see how you're feeling. To break this habit though, each time you scan yourself and have an anxious thought, I want you to dismiss that anxious thought. All right, what do I mean by that? Well, for example, let's say you scan yourself and you think, oh no, I notice my heart palpitations are getting worse. What I want you to do is dismiss that anxious thought by responding with, who cares? In other words, anytime you check in with your symptoms, you say the phrase, who cares? The reason this works is because you understand that your anxiety is non-threatening and not dangerous. You know that it's simply the result of excess adrenaline and stress hormones in your body, and that those hormones are actually designed to protect you, not harm you. After you dismiss an anxious thought, here's what you need to do. You must shift your focus away from anxiety and to an engaging and immersive activity. So run an errand, read a book, write a letter, do whatever you want, but just make sure it's something that you can really concentrate on. We need to give our brain a focus to prevent it from checking back in with our anxiety. Now, this is going to take some practice, but with some time, it's going to allow you to break the habit of checking in with your anxiety. Again, this is not going to happen overnight, and you are going to need to practice and work on it. But soon, you're going to stop checking in with your anxiety, and your brain, it's going to be able to concentrate on more important things. All right, that's it for today. If you like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe to keep learning how to overcome your anxiety.